It was supposed to be just another night, until it wasn't. A black man, dressed in a crisp suit, drives home from dinner when flashing lights appear in his rearview mirror. He pulls over, calm but cautious. Two white officers step out, smirking. This isn't about a traffic violation. This is about something else. Step out of the car, one of them says, his voice laced with amusement. The other leans against the cruiser, arms crossed, watching. There's no urgency, no real reason, just a game to them. They do this for fun. They expect nervous compliance, maybe even fear. But they don't know who they're dealing with. The man calmly removes his seatbelt and steps out. No anger, no resistance, just quiet authority. And in the next few moments, these officers are about to realize they've just made the worst mistake of their careers. The senior judge stands still, his face unreadable. He's been in courtrooms where men like these officers faced consequences for their actions. But tonight, he's not behind the bench. He's on the side of the road, being treated like a suspect for no reason. One officer circles him, eyeing his suit like it doesn't belong to him. "Where you headed?" he asks, his tone casual but condescending. "Home," the judge replies evenly. The second officer chuckles, shaking his head. "Nice car. Bet it's not even yours." The judge doesn't react. He's seen this play before. Unnecessary stops, baseless questions, the slow build-up of intimidation. He also knows how dangerous it can turn. But these officers are too caught up in their game to realize they've already lost. Because in the next few minutes, they'll learn exactly who he is, and by then, it'll be too late to undo their mistake. The judge stands tall, his face calm, but inside, he's measuring every move. He's dealt with injustice before, just not this close, not like this. The officer with a smirk steps forward, tilting his head. "No ID?" he asks, though he hasn't even asked for one. The judge reaches into his pocket, moving slowly, deliberately. He's well aware of the risks, the way stories like this can take a turn in an instant. The other officer's hand drifts toward his holster, not out of fear, but out of habit. He pulls out his wallet and hands it over. The first officer flips it open lazily, glancing at it, then stops. His smirk fades, his posture stiffens. The second officer notices the change. "What's wrong?" he asks. A long pause. The officer clears his throat, but suddenly, the power dynamic has shifted. He now realizes the weight of his mistake. But how far has this gone? The officer's fingers tighten around the wallet as he reads the name again. His throat goes dry. He knows this name. They both do. This isn't just any man. They've seen him before, though never like this. Not on the side of the road, not at their mercy. The judge watches them closely, saying nothing. He doesn't have to. The weight of their mistake is sinking in, but the question is, what will they do now? The second officer steps forward, trying to recover. "Is there a problem?" he asks, forcing a chuckle, but there's tension in his voice now. The first officer hesitates before handing back the wallet, his smirk long gone. "No problem," he mutters, but his mind is racing. They had pulled him over for fun. Now their careers, their reputations, everything could be on the line. And the judge, he's waiting to see what they do next. The judge slides his wallet back into his pocket, his movements slow and deliberate. The silence between them is heavy. The officers exchange quick glances, a silent conversation passing between them. They know they've made a mistake, but how deep does it go? Then the radio crackles. A voice comes through. "Dispatch to Unit 7, we have a request for Judge Lawson's location." His office reports he hasn't checked in. The officers freeze. The judge tilts his head slightly, watching their reaction. His office had been expecting him. Someone had noticed he was missing. And now the situation has shifted again. The second officer clears his throat. "Judge Lawson, we were just conducting a routine check." The judge raises an eyebrow. "A routine check." His voice is calm, but there's an edge to it now. The first officer grips the radio, hesitating. The next words they say will decide everything. The silence stretches between them, thick with unspoken tension. The first officer exhales sharply, forcing a stiff nod. Of course, Judge Lawson, just making sure everything's in order. His voice is tight, careful now. The arrogance from earlier is gone. The judge doesn't move. He studies them both, reading the nervous shift in their posture, the way their confidence has crumbled. Then I assume we're done here. His tone is measured, but it's not really a question. The second officer swallows hard. Yes, sir. He steps back quickly, as if distance might erase what just happened. Just as the judge turns to leave, his phone buzzes. A message. He glances at the screen and pauses. Then, slowly, he looks up at the officers. The message is from his clerk. ***, call me immediately. There's a complaint against 2 officers, filed by you. ***. But the judge never filed a complaint. Someone else did, and that changes everything. The judge lowers his phone, his mind racing. Someone knew what was happening before he even had a chance to speak. But who and why? The officers shift uneasily as he studies them. They don't know about the message. Not yet, but their panic is already settling in. He exhales, slipping his phone back into his pocket. "Drive safe, officers," he says evenly before turning toward his car. They watch him go, frozen in place. They got lucky tonight. Lucky that he wasn't the kind of man to escalate things. But luck only lasts so long. As the judge pulls away, his phone rings. It's his clerk. He answers, listening carefully. "The complaint came from an anonymous source," she says, "but it includes details only someone at the scene would know." The judge glances in his rearview mirror. The officers are still standing there, staring after him. Someone is watching, and justice may come sooner than they think.